For us, as leaders who are meeting the opposition and those that we will meet as we continue, I've said several times before, if you are betting on our differences, you will lose your bet for sure, because we are not going to disagree. All that propaganda and all those stories you hear being coined every day and so on, they intended to either annoy Kalonzo or annoy me or annoy Kalonzo supporters or annoy my supporters or do something. Oh, you know, I don't know who's annoyed. How do you know? I mean, you are not God. How do you know who's among us that is annoyed? You keep peddling lies, you know, and so on. We are determined to make our contribution and make the ultimate sacrifice about how we will save this country and redeem or save this country from the hands of these people. You know, people advise me these days that because I'm saying I'm aspiring for the president, I should change my language a little bit. No. Because I would say some stronger things. Because some of the things you see are shocking. Because how a country of our size, and you know, Kenya, we have everything going for our country. You guys know this more than anything else. I was in the education sector. We have a very educated population, very patriotic people who love their country. Kenyans are very hardworking people. They really want to do good for their country. All they need is trustworthy leadership. You mean what you say what you mean. It's long since we had a government that you could trust. That's all that Kenyans are asking. And because they can't be trusted, we're telling you, trust us. We'll give you our word and we'll keep our word. Trust us. And we will level with you. When it's not going to happen, we will tell you it's not going to happen. We will not lie to you. We will not verge or hide or hibernate or tell you stories in place of work. And we will not come to you and begin to lie and pretend about things, you know. Listen very carefully. There must be linguists in this audience. You know, students of linguistics and researchers. I want you to listen to the language of this administration when their leaders speak. It is actually, it's called street corn language, you know, where they say, tumeunganisha waya, you know, that's, that language is non-committal language, non-responsible language that you cannot ascribe responsibility to. Very evasive language. You know, people who do things, they come forward to you as leaders. Like Honorable Kalonzo stood here and said, I have done this, I have told JB this, and so on. Or JB says, I did this, I asked this question, and so on. That's what responsible people do. But those who are evasive, who evade responsibility, they draw in that language, that evasive language. And kuunganisha waya is now the way they behave and so on. Kenya is better than this. We are better people than that, I believe. So, thank you so much for this audience, and Your Excellency, you have led the way. This is what we are going to do for several days. We agreed. A consensus building, having small group meetings like we are having here today, talking to you and listening to you, getting ideas from you. Dr. Moyo, thank you for the sermon. We will surround ourselves with you, smart people, advising us on what we need to do. And we will do this until that time when we get to a point and say which one of us is going to be the captain to lead the team for transformation. And we'll continue to work together. And you are friends because you have nothing to run on, you have nothing to defend. It's only propaganda you can do. Please carry on, because in any case you must find something to do. So if that's what you are found to do, carry on with it. As we carry on with the plan we want to build and the platform we would like to build to move our country to the next level. And we will soldier on as leaders outside of government. And finally, my brothers and sisters, I say this every time I have an opportunity to talk to Kenyans. We are stronger, and there's nothing wrong with our country. I mean, this is a wonderful country. It's our only home on earth. God has been kind and gracious to us and gifted us a wonderful country. Let's take care of it. The challenges we have, the momentary challenges in our leadership, are not our destiny. You know, that language, you university professors are researchers. You know, when a guy tells you that there are 500 or so health units in a particular place, and you know the population of the place, we were actually working the math in the morning together, and we were saying it must mean that every 5 or 10 households in that area has got a clinic. Is that possible? Yani kwani sisi ni wajinga wa wapi? You know, do they expect that we will believe that? You know, so you know, please let us not accept these intellectual insults and this abuse we are getting as a people. Let us stand up, crank ourselves up, dust ourselves together, move forward, vote these fellows out, and form a government that will take Kenya to the next level. And demonstrate our seriousness as a country. We are a serious country. We cannot be managed like this. We are serious people. How can we accept to be managed like this? And indeed, we have capacity to manage ourselves better. So, my parting shot, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, is let's do every one of us who are seated here. I want to ask you, please, prepare to do a good thing. You know, in life and in the history of your country, you do a good thing when you improve your country's welfare. And now, as we are moving forward to the elections, please prepare to do a good thing. And the good thing can't be returning these people. So you know what the good thing is. And you educated people. Yani kama tuko namna hii vile tulivyo baada ya miaka 3. Another 5 years of these people, do you think you will have a country? Takuwa hata umeuswa wewe mwenyewe unafika kwa. They don't spend so much time on a lot of innuendos. I would like to focus on solutions. How do we get ourselves out of this? The horrific stories you hear in the education sector that are going on. No one knows that better than you guys. But what we are seeing in the country. I mean, we talk to teachers, we are with teachers, school principals, parents every day, and you keep asking yourself the question, what actually is going on? And so what do you want to hear? All those parents of Kenya, all the teachers of Kenya, wherever you meet the teachers, ask them a simple question: do you want to continue this way? If your answer is no, like mine is, and Kalonzo and everybody's answer is no, then you know what to do. This is a case where I honestly think we shouldn't campaign. Those who should campaign and are spending money on social media, insulting us, creating meetings for us that we don't even know, lying about what Kalonzo has done and have not done, lying about where Matiang'I is seated, vis-a-vis Kalonzo's position of sitting. You know, people have nothing to spend. People spend time on pettiness, you know, and small, you know, how did we become so small-minded as a country? That those are the kind of things we spend time on now. And now we are being told about those. Let's go forward and build our country. We have a duty to build our country. And here is my ask of you. Wonderful.
Is in a messy situation. As you le messy mpiga mchapa kandanda. It's a very messy situation. I heard yesterday William Ruto akiwa Mombasa akisema that their economic model is working. I don't know how many of you saw that. When he bought a cow for 1 million shillings, and then he said the economic model is actually working. Now, how can it work when Kenyans who now live below the poverty line, and our brother Fred Matiang'I has been working at those levels of the World Bank and IFC, the Bretton Woods institutions, and somebody who cannot afford $1 per day is seen to live below the poverty line. $1 per day is today 128, 130 shillings. How many Kenyans today, clearly, yani tuambiane ukweli, ambao hawezi kabisa siku moja kupata shilingi 130? Ni wengi. So hiyo namba sasa imeteremka to levels that are not even describable. And yet tunaambiwa uchumi unafanya vizuri. Now let me tell you the truth. Kasongo's government is rated at just about 20%. I think I'm generous. I remember that 20% Governor Wavinya, because you said when I was co-chairing NADCO, right? Remember NADCO? Which are now trying belatedly to do something about, that at least let us increase mgao wa serikali za counties kutoka 15 to 20. That is in our strong recommendation. But these guys are not even able to implement what they asked us to do. And they say the country is doing well. That actually is like living in a fool's paradise. And Kenyans are not foolish. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka tujue kwamba wakati mmoja nilikuwa waziri wa elimu. My brother Matiang'I at some stage also became Minister for Education. There are several things we did in conformity with international statutes. At that time, we had a conference in Jomtien, that's a country, a place in Indonesia, when the world agreed to the concept of lifelong learning. So you really cannot stop going to school or learning. The Jomtien Declaration. And then at about that time, child rights were the issue, the main thing. So I had the privilege to outlaw, as Minister for Education, corporal punishment in all our schools. Well, I remembered also, as a Christian, the Bible tells me, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Now we have to do a balance. The balance is, you do not have to use literally a cane to dismember a child, kumpiga kama mnyama wa porini na vitu kama hivyo. Even today, I'm sure there are some schools where corporal punishment is practiced differently. We did that. Just like we did start I actually appointed the first chief executive officer of the Higher Education Loans Board. And a lot of us in the leadership position actually went through that. We used to call it boom. During my time, it was 6,000 shillings or something. And it was useful. In addition, we used to have decent catering services at the university. CCU, Central Catering Unit. Today, even living standards in our public universities are in a pathetic situation. There's not much honor in being a university student. And yet I'm reminded by my brother Muturi when we were discussing. Those days when you qualified to go to university, I think Fred, you also mentioned it, your name would appear in the newspapers. Mpaka villagers wanaona unabeba gazeti yako inembu, they will go to buy from Kanyombora. One Kenya, one nation, one team. For one term. Sindio? So we cannot drive this narrative if we are going to have contradictions between ourselves. So our advice is to those working with us, we need to build one team. So that respect is so critical, so critical. Let's not begin to dismember our unity even before we begin. And building coalitions, I can tell you, is the most difficult thing. So please, before you dismember, until then, after a year after that, he started to talk about the sacred coalition. Yani sacred, what is that Mukisa? Ile sacred. Kwa hivyo uhusiano wa ajabu huyu. Tukifanya uhusiano huu, tukibuni mambo yetu haya, jameni tusiharibiane. I wanted to say that as a caution. And my brother Fred Matiang'I, as you all know, he looks strong. Hata akiingia hapa, told me the reason Kenyans love Matiang'I is because they think akichukua hivi kazongo ndani.
No, I can tell you. Because I told him, Nurdin knows where my son is. And Kindiki called me twice. I told me, no, it's not true. I have spoken to Nurdin. Asked him, but Kindiki, if you have spoken to him, why I said that he cannot pick my calls? We sit together in the National Security Council. Why? I mean, does he imagine that it's not a love affair? Since last evening, I've been trying to call him and he cannot answer my calls. So I go, given that situation, Mugisa, I drove to Seta. I told Kasongo, look, my son was picked, and then he's telling me, oh, my phone crashed. I said, no, just call. Call Nurdin. I'm standing next to him. And he calls Nurdin and said, Nurdin, are you the one holding Muturi's son? I said, yes, sir. Yes. Just release him. And Nurdin says, and I could hear, Your Excellency, in the next 1 hour, you'll be at home. Surely. I imagine how many parents in Kenya have been agonizing to date. For some of them, we were with you, Wakili Njiro and Dan Manzo. Some of them
ambaye mamua ni one term, one team, one nation. Ningependa kumshukuru mwenyeji wetu kwa kitendo endelevu na kielelezo kwa wengine wetu, kwamba mzingi bora wa uwiano katika siasa ni kutafutana na viongozi wa fikra, utafiti na upembuzi wa kinifu. Ambao wajui upembuzi wa kinifu kwa Kiingereza inaitwa critical analysis. Sisi tunajua kwamba tumekuwa tunafanya siasa kama lele mama, kama malezi ya mama, kama kitu cha mzaha. Mjinga anakuchezea na kupatia shilingi 10, unasema wewe peke yako. Unaalikwa kukutana na watu wa fikra, unasema nitalipwa nini? Yaani huo utoto umekuwa ndio mwelekeo na mtamshi yetu kama Wakenya. Lakini vile mwenyeji wetu amesema, tunapitia pahala nyeti, pale ambapo mle mzaa tumeufanya kwa miaka imepita, hauwezi ukaendelea tena. Ukiona vitu wanafanya kama katuni kengine kutoka huku Northeastern kanaitwa Duale, kalifukuzwa, kalikataliwa na viongozi wa kimajeshi kwa sababu ya tabia yake na ulafi wake. Amekuja sasa afya, anatueleza kuna compliant hospitals in Northern Eastern Kenya 700 kwa SHA. Na uliza population ya North Eastern iko kiasi gani? Kuna hospitali ngapi kwa which percentage of the population? Yani mazoea kwamba ukiiba na Ruto anakubalia, inaalalika kuendelea kuiba zaidi hadharani na kututuzi ukicheka. Samani hatuna muda wa kutosha, mimi ningependa nikaongelea muda mrefu, lakini tu ni kusema sisi tunaheshimu sana hatua yako ya kwanza Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka, kualika viongozi wa vijana na viongozi wa kisomo na fikra endelevu mjadiliane nao pamoja. Naimiza na wasii wenzangu, hii kwetu hatua ya kwanza kwa kutafuta uwiano wa maana wa kudumu kati ya uongozi wa kisiasa na uongozi wa kisomo na kifikra. Pamoja tutabuni sera, nadharia na vingine vyote vinahitajika kuligomboa taifa letu. Kwa wale vijana ambao wengine leo pengine mnalemea Kiswahili kisichokuwa cha sheng, nimesema tu mawili kwa Kiingereza. We are at a moment where we are not trying to prove that any generation is better than another. But we know that inordinately your generation bears a burden of a dead can that is being kicked down the road. Ruto is borrowing money on the commercial markets, expensive money to pay cheaper debts, but he's kicking the can about when that money is going to be paid, when you are the ones who are going to be responsible, and he will be back in the village roasting goats. We do not want to compete between generations. We want to create conditions under which representatives and leaders of younger Kenyans sit down with us, with the leaders of thought and research, with the political leaders, and we co-own the agenda of this nation.
Na hakuna kitu kibaya kama sisi ni magavana, tuna lead counties zetu, tunaambiwa whether you like it or not, we are going to do it. Life is not like that. Hii dunia ni watu kuongea na kusemezana. You cannot force things down the throat of people, not even your own children. With your children, you need to negotiate with them. You need to talk to them, not at them. And you need to agree. We are I can say we are not happy as the Council of Governors. And we are going to come out very clearly now. We will talk. Hatutakubali kusukumiwa vitu. Tunaambiwa wanajaribu kusema corruption, Sasa wametoa corruption kwa national government. Now governors ndio wanasukumua corruption. Governors ni corrupt, governors ni corrupt. These people take more than 85% of the national government of the funds. As we only have 15%. Nataka mtuambie hii 85% inaenda wapi? Na 15% is only shared between 47 counties. If it works, kwanza you run it parallel with the old system. And if it works, then you change over to the new system, leaving the other system as a backup. Tunaambiwa tuamke asubuhi tutumie system. Hii system hatujui kama inafanya hatujui kama inafanya kazi. By the way, haifanyi because ilipelekwa Makueni, ikapelekwa kaunti zingine, haikufanya kazi. It didn't work. You know?